CO, what time is it? When do we eat? Hey, CO. Hey, CO, do I have a visitor today? Hey, CO, what time is it? Hey, CO, what's for chow today? You know, inmates have 24 hours a day, 365 days a year to think of things to ask correctional officers. And although this may seem like a little nothing for officers to deal with, for the officers, it can become quite a nuisance. Hi, I'm Gary York, True Prison Stories. Please subscribe. You know, officers have a lot more to do than people think. We have count time. We have to feed the inmates. We have to have medical movement, attorney booths, visitation, outside maintenance, inside maintenance, medical call, dental call, all kinds of things we have to do that are also compiled with inmates trying to commit suicide, inmates trying to hurt each other, inmates trying to hurt the officers. We have to have our head on a swivel. But inmates have a lot of questions. This is a known fact, especially for those of us who have worked in the jails and prisons. We know inmates always have a lot of questions. We have to be very careful how we answer these questions. And we also have to be very careful that these questions are not trying to distract us from our work so that other things can be done by other inmates. So how do you handle inmates asking a lot of questions? Do you yell at them and say, I haven't got time for your shit, shut the hell up, stop asking me questions? Do you answer their questions? Or do you find creative ways to let them know you just don't have time to answer their questions right now? Which way do you handle it? Every officer has their own style. You know, there are so many types of questions inmates ask. Okay, hey, how do I get a grievance form? Hey, CO, what is on the menu today for lunch? Hey, CO, what are my rights? I have my rights. Hey, CO, what if I say no? These questions are not only geared towards wanting to know something, but sometimes the inmates' questions are geared towards how can I get under your skin? And we can't allow them to get under our skin with a bunch of questions, okay? When does my commissary get here? Hey, CO, when do we get released? You know, when do I get released? Can you look up my release date? All kinds of questions. And then there's the other kinds of questions. Hey, CO, you like my painting? Hey, CO, you like my poem? Hey, CO, what kind of perfume you wearing today? Hey, CO, did you get a haircut? You look good today. The manipulative questions, where the inmate is slowly trying to manipulate you, get you on their side. If you fall for their questions and say, yes, I got my haircut today. Well, I really like it, CO. Now you're playing into their little game of questions. So inmate questions can be actually, for real, what time is it? I want to know. And you sometimes want to look at them and say, and I have said this before, it's 2 minutes later than the last time you asked me. And most inmates will understand that answer as stop asking me what time it is. The inmates will say, hey, you look good today, CO. Did you just get a haircut? Don't worry about my hair. Worry about your own. Now get back to business. That will let the inmate know, stop asking personal questions about me and move on. But if you say Yes, I did get my hair cut. Oh, thank you. Anything of this nature, you've now let the inmate have just a little bit of rope, and the inmate feels, hey, I'm going to keep going with more questions. At some point, you have to cut them off. The questions our inmates are asking are not always legit. There's a hidden reason many times behind the questions inmates ask. Hey, CO, where do you live? Hey, CO, I looked out the window. I saw you drive into work today in that red pickup truck. It's a nice truck. Leading questions, trying to get you to say, oh, thanks. Yeah, I got that truck down, at the GMC dealership. Got a good deal on, you start answering these questions, you're just giving them personal information that they don't need to know. This is why when people say, hey, do inmates ask you a lot of questions when they're in prison or jail? I say, yes, they do, but you have to cut them off. Now, there are times when you can say, okay, hey, CO, I feel this or I feel that. Can I get to medical? Can you call medical for me? At these points here, sometimes we can't second guess. Oh, we know there's many fake heart attacks. We know there's many fake illnesses among inmates. But one thing I didn't personally play with, if I knew the inmate was asking about a medical problem, well, I'm not a doctor, folks. I'm not a nurse, and I'm not going to pretend to be one. I would call medical and say, hey, this inmate is stating their chest hurts. They feel like they're having a heart attack. I know, now we have to write an incident report, but the inmate just asked me if I could contact medical because of a medical problem. Now, I'm going to write an incident report to cover myself. Inmate Jones at 1300 hours came to me in Dorm D and said, hey, I'm having chest pains. I can hardly breathe. Can you call medical for me? Can you get someone from medical for me? I'm going to call medical, and they're going to come down and they're going to take the vital signs, take the blood pressure, look at the inmate. The nurse may look up at me and say, hey, send him on down to medical. We'll check him out further. Or the nurse may say his vital signs are fine. He's fine. But I've at least done my part. A female inmate comes up to me and says, and she's pregnant, and she says, hey, something's wrong. Something's wrong. I think something's wrong with, I can't walk. I can't make it any further. Well, I've heard a lot of stories where a correctional officer ignores that question when they say, I need medical. And then something really happens. And then all kinds of inquiries begin. I don't play around with medical questions too much. Now you see how the inmates' questions can become complicated in our world of being a correctional officer. Time consuming. Takes up a lot of time in our day and in our daily work and daily activities to take care of some of these issues. You can tell an inmate when they ask a question, when do we get commissary? I don't see anything wrong with saying, hey, you get commissary the same time as you did last week. Okay? Every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Don't ask again. It's okay to say that. Or you could just say, ask another inmate when you get commissary. I've got things to do right now and I'm very busy. Because all the inmates know what time commissary is. It's a very important part of the inmate's life. This is where they order things from the canteen or the commissary, and they wait for them to get there in the jails every week. Or things in the prison, they have an inmate canteen in the prison where they can go get things themselves. So when they say, what time does the inmate canteen open up? You say the same time as every day. Because you know this inmate's been there for a while. They know when it opens up. You sometimes have to put a stop to all the questions. just make sure that when the question is asked, it's not something that will come back to bite you. Because if an inmate asks you, hey, is your house on Lesnick Drive down there in Janville Village? Now, wait a minute. Now we're getting very close to my personal life at home. I'm going to shut down that inmate and I'm going to write an incident report. Inmate Jones at 1400 hours approached me and came very close to the area I live in, asking if I live in that area. I'm going to write an incident report that this inmate is asking questions about my private life. And then we're going to write the inmate up. We're going to shut him down from asking questions about our personal life. So when people think, oh, these are just a bunch of questions the inmates ask, it's no big deal. I just want everybody to know you have to pay attention to what the inmate is asking. Is it a harmless question? Is it a question that can lead to something more severe? Is it a question that can lead to a problem later on? And is it a question that leads into your personal life and things about you personally? Just be careful with all the questions the inmates ask, and be aware they have 24 hours a day to think of things to ask you, and you need to know what you're answering. Thank you very much. Gary York, True Prison Stories.